Hey, this is Ulrich Carlson. I am the writer of the CRM Chat Guy blog. And in this video, I'd like to talk about the Toolbox plugins that Mohammed Rashid and I have created and some common configuration that happens in charts a lot. And that common configuration is colors and working with the different types of colors and changing out the custom color palette that's available in Dynamics 365. So let's have a look at that. So this is essentially a follow-up video to the introduction to the chart editor that we put out last week. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I would recommend you have a look, because here we're just going to deep dive on the colors themselves. So first I'll continue working on the chart that I created in the last session, the top 10 of sum and average estimated revenue with new label formatting, etc. And I've already open up the advanced chart editor in the XrmToolBox and loaded all the entities and the opportunities. I'll go ahead and open up the top 10 customer sum and average estimated revenue. Go ahead and click Edit Chart and open up the visual editor. And I'll go ahead and open up the two series. And on the series here, we can see the color that I set for each series specifically. And this is an RGB color, and I can go ahead and click this little button and basically specify my own basic color, or use the schema here to define a very specific RGB color that I want to work with. There's a few more types of colors that Dynamics 365 supports, and that is not just RGB colors, it also supports working with hex colors, for example. So in this case, I can type in 399 BD6, which is a nice bluish color. However, it doesn't really work for the preview, but if I actually added this to the chart, you would be able to see this color according to this specific code. Another thing that you can do with the colors is type in named colors like light green or just green, for example, and you can see here that the color shows up in the preview item itself. There is a fourth type of color called ARGB, and the A stands for alpha transparency, so you can actually work with transparent colors inside Dynamics 365. I'll just reload this series so I get my nice blue color back there, and we have the three codes for RGB: 176, 216, 255, and I can go ahead and add an additional color. So I'll go ahead and add 90 in front of this RGB code. The alpha transparency, the A, this fourth number is actually the first number in the series, and now that I put in 90, is also from a scale from 0 to 255. Whereas 0 is completely transparent and 255 is completely solid, or how the color would normally be represented. So when I put in 90, I would say that's probably around 40-45% transparent. So we'll see a lot of transparency in this color, and the lower the number, the more transparent it is. So for example, I'll put in 80 and save this. We'll get a pretty transparent color there. And on the second series, I'll also add some transparency. I'll add a little bit less transparency. I'll add 120, which is close. So 127 would be 50% transparent. And you can see here that the preview doesn't really work with the ARGB colors. You just have to know that when you type in the four numbers, what color it is that you're working with. I'll go ahead and click Save and Update. And I'll update and publish the entity. Now it's been published, I can hit refresh. Alright, here we have the same chart, but with transparency added to the colors. And you can see the transparency. So if you look at the axis markers here for like 6 and 8 million, for example, you can see the lines through the bar. So you can see that these colors are actually transparent, make it easier to adjust and see the actual value in comparison to these markers. Now that was working with the specific colors and the specific types of colors that you have available. We can also work with a full palette, and in order to do that, I'll switch to a pie chart. Okay, so here we have a standard pie chart with the standard custom color palette with the blue color followed by the orange color, etc., etc. This is the standard color scheme that you always see on any of the built-in and out-of-the-box charts in Dynamics 365. So I'll go ahead and select this pie chart with custom palette and go ahead and make some changes to that. I'll open up the visual editor again, and just for fun here in the series, I'll go ahead and change this one from a pie chart to a donut chart, just because I think they look a little more fun. I'll make some additional changes here, like setting the label as a % instead of just showing the name. I'll go ahead and save the chart type there as a donut, and then go to the chart property, the one up here on top. And that's where we have the palette custom colors that defines all the colors used throughout the charts. And this is a property that's used in all the different chart types. And we can see here there's two options available. There's the first one that was already selected. That is the standard custom color palette that all the charts in Dynamics 365 used. Then we have added an alternate custom color palette here in the advanced chart editor for the XrmToolBox. So I'll go ahead and select that one in this case. And before I click OK, let's just talk about here that the standard palette that you can also use, this one is actually set to none. So if you want to use your custom colors, this one has to be none. There's a number of other name palettes, Berry, Bright, Bright Pastel, etc. that you can use, but I'll leave this one at none. And click OK and update the chart. Alright, it's been updated and published, so we can click refresh. Alright, here we have the new donut chart. And you're thinking, hey, that color palette actually looks a little familiar. Probably because it is familiar. That is the color scheme that we took from Power BI. So you can now have Power BI style standard charts within Dynamics 365, and you can share those with other users and teams without necessarily paying for Power BI Pro or Power BI Premium, for example. So you can just basically replace all your custom color palettes on all the different charts with the Power BI color scheme if you prefer that one. Now, also want to quickly talk about how to add your own color palette if you have corporate branding guidelines, corporate color schemes that you would like to follow. And in order to do that, I'll go back to the toolbox and go to the settings area up here and go to paths and open up the XrmToolBox storage folder. In here, I'll go to the folder called settings and I'll open up the chartstructure.xml, and I'll use Notepad++ in order to edit this, which is my favorite XML editor. Just a heads up, before you make any changes, it's probably a good idea to take a backup of this file so you can always get it back in case you run into issues afterwards. And notice here, the file, I'm already scrolled all the way to the bottom. That is where you find the palette custom colors. And this is where we have the first item, which is the standard color scheme, and the second one here, which is the Power BI color scheme. So I'll go ahead and add an additional item. I'll just cut and paste this from a separate document. Alright, here it is. And we can see the enum item and the name and the different colors. And there's actually a mix of hex and RGB colors in here. Doesn't really matter what type they are as long as the colors are separated by semicolon. Just a heads up, you need a minimum of 6 colors in your custom color palettes if you do choose to create your own. Otherwise you're going to have some blank spaces in here. So I'll go ahead and save this, and now I'll go back to the XrmToolBox. I will have to shut down the XrmToolBox and open it up again in order for it to read the new file. Okay, I have now restarted the toolbox. I came back to the opportunities and selected the pie chart, which is now a donut chart, and will edit this again in the visual editor. And I'll select chart and go to the palette custom colors, and now I have my third option down here with my corporate color scheme. So I'll go ahead and click save, OK, and update the chart once more. It's been updated, so we can click refresh. Alright, and here we have my custom color scheme that I'll apply to the pie chart, and I can easily use the same custom color palette in all of my different charts. In this case, this is the color scheme for Elevate Solutions, the consultancy that I work for, and it's now very easy for me to use this on any of the charts that I'm doing to give it a personal touch rather than using the out-of-the-box color scheme. So if you have your preferred items, you can definitely add them to the chartstructure.xml file. Just remember to take a backup. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. definitely remember to follow Mohammed Rashid and myself, XrmToolBox, on Twitter. And if you want more videos and get notified via email when we have new posts coming out, not just about this tool, but analysis of Dynamics 365 data in general using the tools, Power BI and the built-in dashboards and soon custom insights, remember to sign up for the newsletter on the XrmToolBox blog. Thank you very much, and I hope you like it.